Bullshit.
Let's be honest, that list sucked. I mean, zombies, real mind-blowing plot twist there. So yeah, like final bosses, video game endings are a sensitive part of the game. The ending is the farewell to the player saying,
"Thank you so much for playing my game."
And because of that, I'm taking the game as a whole to be a factor here. The ending must also tie up the game's overall story well, but what I'm really looking for here is the feeling of satisfaction. If the game really makes you feel satisfied for completing the game, then it has done its job. I'm also including the ending credits as a factor here because that's also part of the feeling of satisfaction. I'm excluding games like Dragon Age because those endings really vary on what kind of character you had, who they interacted with, and even though you may get the same ending scene, the impact of it will vary depending on what character you have. Also, sorry to point out the obvious, but spoiler warnings. Alright, no more rambling. Let's get on with this.
This was a triumph. I'm making a note here, huge success. It's hard to overstate my satisfaction. Aperture science.
Something that's become a bit of a staple of the Assassin's Creed franchise is the twist ending. While one could argue that the first Assassin's Creed gave us the first twist ending, it's vague and doesn't really leave much of an impact, to be honest. I'm gonna have to give the rep starter to Assassin's Creed 2. The conflict of the game centers around little objects called Pieces of Eden, which can manipulate the minds and spirits of people that see them. Many questions arise. Who made them? Why? At the end of the game, are these questions answered? Sort of. In the final memory chapter, we see a hologram of Minerva talking to Ezio to deliver a message to someone. She starts talking to us. Odd. Then she proceeds to give a little backstory. Apparently these beings are some sort of humanoid super advanced species with the power to create life and semi-established most of the world's old religions. And then this happens.
The rest is up to you, Desmond.
What? Who is Desmond? I don't understand. Please, wait. I have so many questions. What the fuck?
This ending just completely messes with your head. This plot twist really makes you want to continue with the rest of the game to see what happens. So many unanswered questions really pressures you to want more of this game. There is one thing that lands it at number 10 though. The fact that the bitter taste of the horrible battle with Rodrigo Borgia lingers throughout. Seriously, how did they make beating up the Pope suck?
We do what we must because we can.
I suppose this makes me lose a little credibility by this game being so recent, but I really have to put it. Batman is a deep character, and what makes him so interesting is the central conflict that surrounds him. He doesn't kill. And because of that, the criminals he throws in jail eventually break out and commit more crimes, kill more people, and try to kill Batman. Is Batman fighting a lost cause? Is this a vicious cycle that Batman is doomed to follow? And by not killing, is he essentially doing more harm? All of these questions are what make Batman such a deep and interesting character. And what better way to end a Batman game with this kind of moral dilemma? In the game, the Joker and Batman were poisoned and are dying, and the game is based around finding a cure. Skipping over most of the game, Batman has cured himself and has an extra cure with him. He is essentially holding the Joker's life in his hands, and as usual, the Dark Knight faces off with his constant demon, debating whether or not to kill him.
Every decision you've ever made ends with death and misery. People die. I stop you. You'll just break out and do it again.
However, it seems the Joker inadvertently makes the choice for him.
Are you happy now? Do you want to know something funny? Even after everything you've done, I would have saved you.
That actually is pretty funny.
The Joker dies. The Joker freaking dies. Can anyone honestly say they saw this coming? The Joker has been pretty much the anti-Batman. They almost completed each other in a sick way. And seeing the Joker go is just almost a loss. And with Mark Hamill refusing to voice the Joker anymore, it's likely the Joker is going to stay dead.
But there's no sense crying over every mistake.
Ocarina of Time fits the definition of classic to a T. Even though my favorite is Majora's Mask, I can still appreciate the impact it had on gaming culture. And I think it had the strongest conclusion. After administering the coup de grace to Ganon's face, the sages go Captain Planet on Ganon and banish him forever. Well, forever in Zelda terms. Then after a cheesy and slightly touching little bit of exposition delivered by Zelda, she sends him back to his own time so he can have a normal childhood. Yeah, normal childhood. Anyways, what lands Ocarina of Time on this list is the credit scene. A beautiful, just downright beautiful Fantasia of Zelda's lullaby plays in the background throughout it. And along the way, you see the future Link left behind. However, instead of it being ravaged and desolate and hopeless like he left it, everything is healing, recovering. People are happy. There's no more darkness in the world. The feeling of satisfaction of this ending comes from how such a burned and destroyed world was able to recover. At the end of the finale, Link lays the Master Sword to rest, forever leaving his adulthood behind, and his companion Navi flies off. Okay, I don't know why, but it's still awesome. And here comes my favorite part. The bells and the music right here just cement this game as a classic. Such an immense feeling of conclusion to an almost flawless game. Please note I said almost.
I'm not even angry.
What truly makes Final Fantasy VI shine is its characters. These characters have so much depth to them, with such intriguing personalities and deep backstories. The way these characters interact with each other and the way they work together is just awesome. Even the antagonists are very interesting. We all know what Kefka does in the game. He absorbs the essence of the Warring Triad, essentially becoming the god of magic, the very source of all magic in the world. So it stands to reason that if Kefka is killed, all magic will unfortunately disappear from the world, including magical beings like Espers. Wait a second, Terra's half Esper. So wouldn't it stand to reason that she... Wow, that just knocked up the intensity factor up a few notches. Continuing on, the party eventually defeats Kefka, and his tower begins to crumble. On a time limit, the party has to escape using all of their unique talents and abilities that got them this far, and seeing these characters act off of each other to survive is just really satisfying. Their personalities really start to come out here, especially in this scene that totally doesn't rip off Titanic. Seriously, it doesn't. This came out before Titanic. Okay, bad tangent, moving on. After the party escapes, Terra's father says before he dissipates that if Terra can find something to live for, only the Esper part of her will die and she can live on as a human. And Terra does. She finds the will to live in the children she adopted during Kefka's reign. Well, that's actually pretty touching. And just like with Ocarina of Time, at the credit scene, we get multiple scenes of just seeing the world recover, the fruits of your labor coming full circle. We also get another scene, oh my gosh, are you freaking kidding me?
I'm flying!
I'm being so sincere right now.
Most people believe Shadow of the Colossus to be a fable of the importance of following authority, and the consequences that follow to those who try to be above it. While I can see that, here's what I think. Instead of a fable, I think this story is more of a parable. a story with a message about accepting fate. Wander is not willing to accept fate and let go of the fact that the girl he loves was supposed to die. So he travels to a forbidden land and makes a deal with the devil pretty much to have her resurrected. What follows is hardships involving the mindless slaughter of giant mythical beasts. These majestic creatures, most of them completely harmless, make you feel like a real jerk for killing them. Then the ending comes. Oh boy, Wander's lost everything. His horse, his girlfriend, his body, and now his life, for trying to undo fate. His crime comes with a punishment, being sealed away with the demon and not being able to be with the girl he loved. Part of being a man is learning to accept circumstances beyond your control, and Wander did not. So, in an ironic twist of fate, or some cosmic act of mercy, if you want to think about it that way, he was turned into the exact opposite of a man, an infant. This probably isn't what the writers intended. Okay, this definitely wasn't what the writers intended, but that's art for you. Multiple interpretations.
And threw every piece into a fire.
Bioshock, believe it or not, is a rather artsy game. The game depicts a city filled with wonder and imagination, but also of decay and degradation of society. In the game, there's a morality system based off these little girls. Killing the little girls gets you more Adam, which in turn gets you more powers, making the game easier. But opting to save them gets you less Adam, making the game harder. Both these paths lead to alternate endings, and even though there's technically 3 endings, you can't deny there's really only 2. There's the evil ending, where you take over Rapture and use all the plasmids and technology to conquer the world, being the evil child-killing prick that you are. Or, you can take the high road, and this is an actually satisfying ending. I thought the good ending would have been something like Jack just ditching the city and never wanting to see it again. But no, he does something completely awesome. He adopts all the little sisters and makes them start normal lives. Wow. Did not see a good, happy ending coming out of something this depressing. How did this game that contains genetic crazed freaks suddenly become light and happy and touching and not feel out of place? Oh, who cares? It's a good, bright, happy ending to an otherwise dark and depressing game. And you know what? That's just fine with me.
And in the end, what was your reward? You never said. But I think I know. A family.